You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Before this podcast kicks off, let's talk about goals. The Greatest Goal is a native tree crowdfunding campaign, leaving a legacy for Aotearoa New Zealand as co-hosts of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023. Visit treesthatcount.co.nz to donate a native tree for a brighter future.
Football Fever with News Talk ZB's voice of football, Jason Pine and Bonnie Jansen with Trees That Count. Donate a native tree and help us score the greatest goal.
Welcome into Football Fever. We're back after a day's break. It wasn't a long break, just a day off, but we're back because it's quarterfinal time at the Women's World Cup. Today, Wellington, 1 o'clock, Netherlands v Spain. And Auckland, 7:30 tonight, Japan v Sweden. Two absolutely mouth-watering matchups. How are you feeling, Bonnie?
Very excited, Piney. Very excited. These games are going to be very, very competitive, so looking forward to it.
Before we get on to the quarterfinals, the piece of news that broke overnight here while we were asleep was that England midfielder Lauren James has been handed a 2-match ban following her red card against Nigeria in the round of 16. This is the violent conduct charge. She stood on Nigerian defender Michelle Alosi, so she'll miss the quarterfinal. We knew that. She won't be available for the semi-final if England make it, but if England go to the final, she will be available. How do you feel about this decision?
I think it's probably fair. We knew, I think everyone was expecting a 3-match ban. That was it. So it's good from FIFA to kind of meet in the middle and settle with 2, and knowing that it wasn't not knowing, but it seemed that it wasn't so malicious or anything like that, and both parties respected each other. Yeah, it's a fair call. Yeah,
I think it had to be more than one, didn't it? It couldn't just be a 1-match ban for violent conduct. But I think they've landed in the right place. And I haven't seen too much dissatisfaction with it around the place. I think, heading into the disciplinary process, I think most people were falling on the side of wanting it to give Lauren James another chance. So I think her, the fact that she showed regret pretty much immediately and remorse, the fact that Michelle Alosi came down on her side as well. Yeah, I like it. I like it. And I guess it gives England, not that they need any motivation, but it gives them motivation to get through to the final. So Lauren James, one of the stars of the early part of this tournament, gets another game.
It might disrupt the rhythm a little bit for James. She was kind of on a roll and playing really well for this England side. She didn't start the first game, but she, really got into her groove and has been a notable player and a player to watch of this tournament. So missing these next 2 games, if they get there to the final, might come as a little disruption to the team, and will be interesting to see how Serena Wiegman kind of deals with that in terms of getting to the final, but that's a long way away yet. So, I think it's a fair call, and we'll see what happens if England can use her again and she gets another opportunity.
All right, let's look at today's matches. Wellington Stadium, 1 o'clock this afternoon. Netherlands v Spain. Netherlands are the world number 9. Spain are the world number 6. The Netherlands got through a pretty tough pool and then beat South Africa 2-0 in the round of 16. Spain, of course, had that inexplicable 4-0 loss to Japan in their last group game, but then put Switzerland to the sword 5-1 in the round of 16. Spain in the quarterfinals for the first time. The Netherlands runners-up 4 years ago. How do you see it playing out?
Here's how I see it, Piney, because I feel on paper Spain are the favourites. They're a very, very good side. They've got some unbelievable players, but they've proven to be kind of inconsistent this tournament. And speaking of that loss that you just mentioned to Japan, whereas the Netherlands have had a really consistent run and arguably have just got better every game. So it's the TAB have Spain as the favourites, but I wouldn't call them outright favourites at all, because the Dutch have some really talented players and your new favourite player as well. So it's just going to be such an exciting game.
Yeah, Jill Roord, she has been terrific. 4 goals and right around the park, she's been tremendous. But They are missing Danielle van der Donk, a one-match suspension. She picked up a second yellow card of the tournament against South Africa in the round of 16. She's such a combative force in the middle of the Dutch midfield, and we saw her get under the skin of Lindsay Horan in that game against the USA in Wellington during group play. She'll be a big loss, won't she, Danielle van der Donk?
Oh, I fully forgot about that. That's a huge loss. She's so key for the side and was key at their last World Cup, and while she's one of the older players, she certainly wasn't showing that this tournament around. She's been key for the Dutch, both mentally and physically and technically. So, yeah, that is a huge loss. I kind of forgot about it. Now I'm a little worried.
For Spain, Aitana Bonmati, the star, 3 goals, a couple of assists. She, Jennifer Hermoso and Alba Redondo all have 3 goals. Alexia Putellas, she's kind of yet to fire. She came in, she's double Ballon d'Or winner. It hasn't been her World Cup up till now, has it?
Isn't it so crazy that you've just said the star Bonmati and we're not, and it's not even the star Putellas. Exactly. She hasn't had a great tournament, and the coach benched her the last game and it worked for them. They didn't need her. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he does this afternoon, because I mean, yeah, it's a statement benching your stars, and you got to play your best team, but it's a big match for Spain. So yeah, I mean, I would probably play her, but we'll see how they go.
All right, just before we get to our predictions for this, really interesting media conference yesterday featuring Dutch forward Lynette Berenstain. She was asked about the United States elimination at the round of 16 stage. Here is what she said.
I was just thinking, yes, because from the start of this tournament, they had already a really big mouth. They were talking already about the final and stuff. And I was just thinking, you first have to show it on the pitch before you're talking.
Not a lot of grey area there. How do you feel about that, Bonnie? Because I know the United States have been your favourite team, or were until they got eliminated. Do you think they, beat their chest too much, were a bit outwardly confident, arrogant even?
I firstly am just cracking up at her going, yes, bye. See ya. See, to be fair, I feel like, I'm Dutch myself. I've got it in my blood. So, I love this team and kind of good on this player for speaking up. But to be fair, I think she's read into the media a little bit too much. I think that's the media speaking, and that the US will make the final again. I don't think I ever heard the players, American players ever kind of mentioning once about the final. They were always very one game at a time and respected Vietnam right from the get-go. And, they probably had in the back of their minds that they would have a longer tournament run than they ended up having. But I don't remember them ever admitting that, and they're pretty humble, and you need to be as a competitor like that. So, yeah, I don't think I ever saw that, and it's clear that maybe the media got to this Dutch team a little bit too much, but who knows?
Okay. Spain, they've scored the second highest number of goals in the tournament, 13. The Dutch have conceded just 1 to the USA in group play. Spain are probably going to have most of the ball. The Dutch are going to have to knuckle down and repel that, and also soak it up and try and find a goal themselves. Who do you got?
The Netherlands.
I have too. I've got the Dutch as well. For some reason, I've just loved the way they've played. They're under the radar a bit. Spain have been good, but
that's the thing. They haven't been talked about that much, and they've scored. Both of these sides today have scored some incredible goals. So it will be interesting to see, and that's why this match is going to be so exciting. We haven't seen penalties yet on this side of the Tasman, I think. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, well, you're picking another penalty shootout.
No, I'm not, but maybe.
Okay. Well, of course, these games, both of them, have to be decided today. So extra time and penalties may well be needed in one or both of them. The Netherlands up against Spain, 1:00 this afternoon at Wellington Stadium.
Football Fever with Jason Pine and Bonnie Jansen with Trees That Count. Donate a native tree and help us score the greatest goal.
While this podcast takes a halftime break, let's talk about The Greatest Goal, a crowdfunding campaign leaving a legacy for Aotearoa New Zealand as co-hosts of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023 by asking fans to donate a native tree. Each native tree costs just $10, and whether you donate one or many, you'll be contributing to amazing restoration projects across Aotearoa. Visit treesthatcount.co.nz to donate a native tree and help us score the greatest goal. Looks like we're ready to kick off the second half.
And the second half of the podcast today will focus on the second of the quarterfinals, Japan-Sweden, Eden Park tonight, 7:30 kickoff. You'll be there, Bonnie. Japan, the world number 11, that seems very low in the world rankings for what we've seen from Japan at this World Cup. Sweden are the world number 3. Japan have scored 14 goals and conceded just 1. Sweden got through the round of 16, beating the USA on penalties. How are you seeing this one?
If we look at how the tournament's played out so far, it's that the world rankings don't mean a thing, you know?
Yep.
Nigeria 44 in the world and took England to penalties. Sweden are 3, but I think they've been very underwhelming. I back Japan tonight because of just how outstanding they've been all tournament long, and again they're getting better and better, and they're also consistent, you know, and a lot of these teams have been up and down, so that's why I'm confident that, yeah, I think it'll be Japan. Sweden obviously beat the States, which is a huge win, but not convincingly. Like, come on, you know, the States were winning that game all day.
Just to play devil's advocate for a moment here. We've looked at Japan and everybody has been so impressed with the way they've played, but they've played Zambia, Costa Rica, a Spain side that knew that even if they lost that game, which they did, it wouldn't matter, they'd still be going through, and then a relatively limited Norwegian side in the round of 16. Do you think maybe Japan just haven't played anybody decent yet?
Well, that's a fair point, Piney, and I think I said that on the last podcast. When we get to these knockout stages, it shows kind of who were the strong teams and who weren't, because, you know, some of these groups are far easier than others. So, yeah, you're right, and Japan could come out and absolutely blow it, and maybe they weren't that good after all, and they just had an easy ride to this point. But in saying that, just the football they play and the way they can kind of, you know, optimize and get through a match with limited possession, like they did against Spain. Spain dominated the possession in that match, but yet Japan won 4-0. So, however it goes tonight, and whether Sweden or Japan have most of the ball, it seems the Japanese know how to win.
Yeah, when I said I want to play devil's advocate, that was just so that I didn't have to give an opinion that I don't actually believe in. I think Japan will win the game. I think they've been terrific. They've won 8 of their last 10 World Cup matches against European sides. Hinata Miyazawa is the World Cup's golden boot leader at the moment with 5, but Sweden in goal have, I think, one of the keepers of the tournament, Zecira Musovic, who was just immense against the United States in the round of 16, and Sweden haven't conceded for the last 3 games. So a clash of styles, the technical passing brilliance of Japan, the physicality of Sweden. I'll tell you what, Japan wouldn't want to be giving away too many corners and free kicks in their defensive third, would they? Because that is where Sweden, and we saw this against Italy in particular, are very, very dangerous.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I'm really excited to see how Musovic goes in goal, because if you break down Japan and how they've scored, you know, they've had really good stats for their shots on target and actually getting those in, you know. So I'm interested to see. She's going to be key tonight for Sweden, because Japan have been very good at, executing all of their shots on target.
All right, who you got?
Japan.
Yeah, I got Japan as well. So we agree today on the Netherlands and Japan going through. It's equally likely that it's Spain and Sweden, though, right? These are two two very close matches.
Exactly. Anything can happen. But I also had on my World Cup prediction not long ago that Japan and Spain will meet again, and we'll see a rematch, which could be likely, and Spain will, you know, want to come out and give them one. So who knows? But I would like to see, being a bit of a fan here as well, I would like to see the Netherlands and Japan. Yeah,
and I picked Sweden pre-tournament, didn't I? So I don't have to stick to that, because what I've seen from Japan has been terrific. But yeah, it would make my prediction look very good if Sweden continued to stay alive in this tournament.
And Japan are my office sweepstakes. Well, there you go. So I've got to back them.
That's crucial. I think what we are about to embark on are 2 of the most exciting days of this tournament, which has already been sensational. These 4 quarterfinals just have so much about them. 2 today, 2 tomorrow, Australia, France and England, Colombia. We'll preview those on the pod tomorrow and review what happens today. But after a day off to catch our breath, there are 8 games to go, and the 3rd and 4th place playoff, I guess, goes off to one side. So 7 big matches to go. These 4, though, Bonnie, I can't remember looking forward to 2 days of football as I am to these 2 days.
That's right. And even though we've lost some big guns of the tournament, like Canada, like the States, like Brazil, there's still, some really, really exciting matches to come. And it's, even though there's only 8 games left, which makes me a little sad, they're the most exciting games. So I hope everyone just gets around them and that these 8 teams put on a show.
Enjoy yourself at Eden Park tonight, Bonnie. We'll reconvene tomorrow, as I say, to review these 2 games and preview the other 2 quarterfinals. Have an excellent day.
Likewise, Piney.
Thank you very much, and thank you for tuning in and listening. We'll have a fresh episode of Football Fever dropping into your podcast feed at around about the same time tomorrow. See you then.
The Football Fever podcast with Jason Pine and Bonnie Jansen with Trees That Count. Donate a native tree and help us score the greatest goal.
In this post-match review, let's score the greatest goal by donating a native tree to leave a legacy for Aotearoa New Zealand as co-hosts of the FIFA Women's World Cup 2023. Visit treesthatcount.co.nz to donate a native tree for a brighter future.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.